Hello, this is Giorgio Lucas. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I want to talk about the Baltic Tiger, Estonia, also known as the Silicon Valley of Europe. Now, let's get straight down to the 10 points why I think this is still a good real estate market to invest in. Number one, price. Although, yes, it's true to say property prices in Estonia have gone up quite a bit over the last few years, it's still a lot less than many other European countries. So if we take the capital Tallinn and compare it to another capital, let's take Stockholm in Sweden. Now in Stockholm, prices are 4 times more expensive per square meter. But if you take net salaries in Stockholm are only twice of those in Tallinn. Let's take Helsinki. Property prices are 3 to 3.5 times more expensive of those in Tallinn, but yet salaries are less than double of those in Tallinn. And that leads me to point 2. Salaries in Estonia are rising really rapidly. Over the last 12 years in Tallinn, salaries have almost trebled and they're going up all the time. So this can only be a good thing for the property market, because it means in the future locals will be able to afford property even though it goes up. So if you invest now, you're likely to make a good gain in the future. Number 3, the yields in Estonia are quite good. So if we take Tallinn, on a typical property, you will, depending on what property you buy, you'll get yields of 5 to 7%. Now that's pretty good when you compare it to other capitals such as London, Paris, Rome, where normally you'd expect to get around 3%, maybe maximum 3.5 to 4% if you're lucky. But here you're talking 5 to 7%. That's pretty good. Now, number 4, and I think this is also quite an important point, is the debt levels are very, very low in Estonia. So the government total debt to GDP before COVID-19 was actually less than 10%. That's fantastic. That is actually the lowest in the European Union. And if you compare it to countries like Italy at 133% before COVID-19, UK around 87% before COVID-19, I'm sure you'll agree this is a fantastic figure and only augurs well for the future of Estonia and its house prices. Now, number 5, what I also like is that foreigners have the same rights as locals when buying property. Now, in many countries this is not the case, but in Estonia it is. So you're not discriminated against if you're a foreign buyer. Number 6 is low transaction costs when buying and selling property in Estonia. Now, typically in many countries, when you look for a property, buy a property, you've got to pay all these things like legal fees, notary fees, stamp duties, and other taxes. And normally those are between 8 to 15%, sometimes more when you take buying and selling costs. Now, in Estonia, total transaction costs of buying and selling a property are only between, depending on what property you buy, are between 2.5 to 5.5%. That's really, really low when you compare it to most countries, and particularly in Europe. So I put this as another good advantage of Estonia. Now, number 7, I actually think Estonia, although people still consider it an emerging market, I actually think it's quite a secure country. It's part of the European Union, it's part of the Eurozone, it's part of NATO. So even though real estate wise it's still an emerging market, it's actually quite mature in the sense that it's almost very, very forward thinking, very, very European way of thinking. So it's an advanced country in that sense. But in the real estate market, it's, although not a very emerging market, it's still not a mature market. And I give this as an advantage of investing in Estonia. Now, number 8 as well, it's a fantastic business country as well. You look at startups, Estonia has the highest number of startups per head in the whole of Europe. Even more than countries like the UK, which are considered very, very business friendly. And also, you should note that Skype and TransferWise, yeah, they were born in Estonia. For such a small country, that is fantastic. Number 9, mortgages are freely available. So the mortgage market is very, very strong in Estonia. Often you'll find in many countries it's difficult to get a mortgage, especially if you're a foreigner. Now in Estonia, that's not the case. It's more or less straightforward. There are plenty of mortgages available, and it's easy. It's fairly easy to get a mortgage. And number 10, Estonia. Now you might laugh. What does that mean, Estonia? Yes, e-commerce. E-commerce in Estonia is really one of the most advanced in the world. Estonia, when it comes to the digital economy, is amongst the top 10 in the world. In Estonia, when you vote, you don't go to a polling station like you do in the UK or other countries. You vote online. It's so advanced. There's things like e-residency. So everything is done online. You can actually, when you purchase a property, you don't have to go to the country and sign the final contract. You can do that electronically. Now, isn't that fantastic? There's so little bureaucracy in Estonia that this surely is also an advantage of buying in the country. It's so business friendly. E-residence, so it's very easy to get an e-residence in Estonia when you compare it to other countries. I'm going to compare it to, let's say, Italy or even the UK, where there's a lot of form filling, going to certain departments, signing documents off. This is not the case in Estonia. Everything is done electronically, and it's a very seamless process. So I give you those 10 reasons why I think Estonia is a great market to invest in for real estate. Now, I'm not going to give Estonia 10 out of 10. Why? The reason being, unfortunately, Estonia is quite pro-tenant, so it can be difficult to evict a tenant. So if a tenant can prove that by leaving the property they are going to suffer hardship for them and their family, then they can actually force you to renew the tenancy for 3 years. So it's actually very much a pro-tenant country, so you've got to be careful with that, and that's the only reason why I don't give Estonia full marks, and I'm going to give it 8 to 8.5 out of 10. So as far as I'm concerned, Tallinn is the best place to invest. In the centre, you can get good property for 2,500 euros per square metre in the centre of Tallinn, which I'm sure you agree is quite cheap. But if you don't invest in Tallinn, you can still invest in other cities. Which other cities? So I would say Tartu is a good place to invest simply because it is the cultural capital of Estonia, and it is where the main university is. So you're going to get good yields on your property there as well, and it's relatively cheap too. And also you can invest in Pärnu. Pärnu is like the seaside capital of Estonia. I've been there. It's actually a lovely place, and you can get some good yields, especially in the summer too. Anyway, let me know what you think, if you're considering investing in Estonia, if this video has convinced you that potentially Estonia is a good country to invest in. If you like my videos, please click the subscribe button. And I've got other videos that I've made on countries, so you can visit my other links to New York. I've done Bulgaria, I've done Italy, amongst other countries. So thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video, and have a great day.